I'm very pleased to be interviewing Benjamin Masse from Triton Digital. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Let's start with your background. How did you get to where you are today?
I have actually an odd background. I'm an entrepreneur, so I had my own business for 7 years doing music recommendation system. So we work with the major labels and some companies like Rhapsody, Real Networks at that time. Personally, I have a master's in anthropology, so it may not sound like a regular background. We never know where we end up, especially in ad tech. So I'm not a programmer, but I do a lot of product management. I run my company for 7 years, then joined another company, work indirectly for Google to resell and build programs for Google Apps, and then I ended up at Triton 3 years ago.
You mentioned that you have an anthropology background and that you studied it in university. How do you find that that applies to what you do today?
I mean, indirectly it brings and opens our mind about different ways to interact with anything outside, including software. So when you build software, you need to not think about just building software for a specific culture, I would say. So you need to broaden your scope and understand that when you sell, because Triton operates in over 30 countries. So when you go to Australia, or like Australia has similarities with England and the US, but when you talk to, we also operate in French, so it's slightly different than in Quebec, for example. Even though the two countries, the province and the country speaks French, they don't speak the same French. They don't expect the same things. So when you do business as well, and when you talk to prospects, clients, or partners, you need to understand that they don't have all the same way of doing business. And when you talk to your programmers and the software team, when you want to build software, then you need to be aware that there's not a single truth. There's multiple truth or multiple expectations how technology can work and help the business work. So that's probably what was useful from my background as an anthropologist and archaeologist.
Tell me about Triton Digital.
So Triton Digital was created, I think, 8 years ago. So it's a company focused on digital audio. So we have 4 lines of business. One is the streaming. So when you listen to radio on digital signals, so on a web player or mobile player, the streaming of that FM station is actually done by Triton. So that's the first line of service. The second one is measurement. So when you want to measure the time spent listening to digital audio, so it could be from a regular radio broadcasters or online music service like Pandora, RDO, for example. You don't measure by page views like a lot of measurement systems are doing out there. So you need to take the time spent listening and making sure that it's not a robot listening but a real human. So that's the second line of business. The third line of business is advertising. So this is the one I'm heading. So how you inject the ad and make it relevant to the listener. So everything around ad serving and digital audio advertising. And the fourth line of business is all the loyalty and engagement programs. So running the radio fan club, making sure the mailing list is curated, and even the website of the radio station. So that's the fourth line of business. So Triton has been doing that for 8 years. We have clients in 30 countries, a lot of clients in the US and Canada, also in Latin America, in Europe, and some clients in Asia Pacific. So we have about 300 employees. We have multiple offices. The 2 biggest offices are in Montreal and Atlanta. A lot of software developers in these offices, and then we have the regional office in Los Angeles, which is actually the headquarters, in New York City, in Boston, Chicago, a really tiny office in Madrid, and we have also people working from home in multiple other parts of the world and in the US to service local clients.